Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to the channel, Cynicalex. Now I know what you're thinking. Alex said it's a Dormammu video, but Loki's over there. So let me explain what's going on. Currently, my Loki is tier 2. And recently I tier 3'd Knull. As you guys know, I experimented with a CTP of Energy and a CTP of Rage. And then before that, or after that, I tier 3 Dormammu, and I have since only used a Judgment on him. However, with Dormammu, there's basically only two builds for him. It's a Judgment or a Rage, but they're basically the same, or a regen for PvP. Now, I don't really need Dormammu for much outside of playing around in Knull and the occasional Alliance Battle Extreme. That was when the cap was 7 million. When the cap was 7 million, you know, people can only get 7 million with Loki. Dormammu's getting between 5 and 6 million, so I'm losing, I'm losing some points, but it's not that big of a deal. But now the cap is over 7 million, so I'm going to be dragging down my alliance mates further if I don't upgrade Loki. So I'm faced with this sort of dilemma. What do I do? Because I can't really upgrade Dormammu much more than he's been upgraded. He's sort of at the limit here. Maybe I can get 6.5 million with him tops if I really crush his rotation and I get lucky and stuff, but you know, it's just not going to happen much higher than 6.5 million. On the other hand, if I go with Loki and I give him a Rage, he can get 7 million pretty easily. So I'm probably going to have to tier 3 Loki and give him a Rage, which is, you know, I'm still excited to tier 3 Loki. He's a pretty cool character. I wanted an excuse to tier 3 him anyways. But if I'm going to be tier 3ing him for Alliance Battle Extreme, what am I going to use Dormammu for? Well, I thought it'd be kind of fun to have tier 3 Dormammu and try him in PvP. So we're going to be swapping his build over to PvP. Therefore, this video is Dormammu's last hurrah for the time being in PvE. We're going to jump into some Ebony action. We're going to jump into some Knull action, and I can show you what he can do with his CTP of Judgment, which is super impressive that he does not need a Rage to put down this much damage. Now, just to recap the build really quickly, we've got a Mythic Uniform with double dodge, double energy attack, and then ignore defense, stage 12 Power of Angry Hulk, and then we've got 7 Odin's Blessings. I did try to give him a little bit more than usual because I like Dormammu personally, and we're rocking 54,000 energy attack and 61,000 HP. He's got really high base stats, which I love, and he's basically maxed out on everything that matters. The only regret I have here about swapping the Judgment for a regen is that apparently, according to testing by players who have already crafted their cards, already have Pierce and chain hit damage synergize really well. And some people have actually found that a lot of Pierce on your cards plus a Judgment is better than a Rage for certain characters like Ghost Rider and Dormammu. So I'm not going to be able to test that in a couple weeks. I mean, maybe I'll test it in like a month or whatever. It's not too big of a deal for me, but we will have our fun now with Dormammu. And for those of you that are wondering, well, Alex, you didn't really talk about Knull. Why can't you just use Knull for ABX? Here's the other conundrum, and maybe shout out to the devs for being so clever about the way they designed these characters. Knull, for me, with an energy, is amazing for World Boss and World Boss Legend. He just pumps out so much damage. And I can actually push to a higher stage of Knull using this Knull with an energy versus my other Knull with a Rage. Knull with a Rage for me is not as fun to play, not as much burst damage, not as good. I was struggling to clear stage 9 with Knull with a Rage. I easily clear stage 9 with an energy, and I can actually clear stage 10 with an energy with Knull. However, with an energy, Knull doesn't do much in ABX. He gets like 4 or 5 million, just like Dormammu. With an energy, with a Rage, he can obviously match or get very close to Loki. But the other problem with Knull is he doesn't have burn. He has silence and he has paralysis, but he doesn't have any burns. So he's actually not available for all 3 of the months. So with that being said, now we're going to jump into the 2 really impressive PvE pieces of content that a tier 3 Dormammu with a Judgment can do, and that this one in particular, not many characters could do. I actually don't think there are any characters in the game at tier 3 or Transcended or whatever that can do stage 99 of Ebony Maw without a Rage, so with a Judgment, without Pierce, without a debuff lead. That's the big thing here. We're going to use double supports, sure, but we're not using a debuff lead, and that is a big key component because a lot of the best characters for Knull require a debuff lead. Like, they need the debuff lead to apply their elemental damage to the maximum amount, or they need the they need a swap character to provide the all defense down in the case of Luna and Ghost Rider. So you need these leaderships, right? Even Professor X needs White Fox's lead for, you know, the all defense down and the mind damage. Dormammu doesn't. So besides Beta Ray Bill and maybe Moonstone, there's very few characters that can do any 99s without an all defense down debuff leadership to push someone to 99% all defense down or whatever, right? Dormammu's one of them. So we're going to jump in here with the Judgment. I also want to highlight these strikers. I've talked about it in a few videos before, but these strikers are actually better. I tested them out against these strikers, which are just like your typical increased damage to villains. These ones actually work out better in Ebony and Knull for characters like Dormammu and Ghost Rider. So here we go against Knull. The rotation that I use for Dormammu is 3, cancel into 4, cancel into 5, and then you can squeeze in at the end of 5, you can squeeze in a little bit of 2. Now I gotta watch out for those pesky spikes. What are they called? The purifying wind, because that will take away my buffs. But the nice thing about Dormammu, and sort of counters the most frustrating thing about Ebony, is that Dormammu has 2 long iframe skills. He's got a long iframe on 5, and then he's got a long iframe on 6. That's actually really helpful, because otherwise Ebony loves to iframe you. Right, he loves to go into his iframes and run away from you and interrupt you. So if you stay in iframe, he can't attack. On top of that, Dormammu has the iframe ignore on 4. So good to just rip Ebony out of his dumb little animations and force him to take your damage. So we're doing pretty well right now. I'm aiming to finish this in about 4 minutes, so we'll see how it goes. But yeah, I just sit in the iframe. You can see that? I guarantee myself all this damage by sitting in the iframe. I hit him when he's in his iframe, and look at the range on 5. I don't even have to be near him, and I get all that guaranteed damage. Here we're gonna cancel 5 into 6, and we're gonna again guarantee all this damage. Oh, a little bit less than I wanted. Maybe we didn't apply enough all defense down first. Apply the fire resist down. Oh, he canceled my 5. That's fun. Sometimes Ebony is a bit more of a curmudgeon than other times. So you just gotta roll with the punches. But we're gonna apply the all defense down here, and then we're gonna go right into 6 to push the damage. No, the damage doesn't want to get pushed. Okay, it's going a little slower than I would have wanted. These last few bars have been a bit of a struggle bus. But I feel like Ebony is warming up to me at the moment. There we go. Okay, true. So 2 minutes in, and we're about halfway there. Not bad. We are kind of on pace. And the other really nice thing about Dormammu is he's such a tank. He takes... Oh, he interrupted my 5 again. Wow. If he honestly keeps interrupting my 5, he's going to make this clear a lot more difficult, because I can't apply the all defense down if he keeps, you know, at the split second that I do 5, he's doing an iframe skill. It's extremely low chance to do it. Oh, look at that nice damage. There's an extremely low chance to do it, but it happens. But yeah, Dormammu is like so underrated for being tanky, and not only is he tanky, but he heals. Not only does he heal, but he also cleanses debuffs. So you got so many weapons at your disposal. Look at this. We're gonna pull him out of iframe here. Okay, could have been a bit higher damage. We're a little bit behind on time, but it really comes down to, unfortunately, with Ebony, there's always a shred of RNG to this fight. I'm gonna pop the 6 here, pop the 4. Our rotation has changed a tiny bit. I'm just trying to maximize the damage and also maximize my iframes. The more we maximize the iframes, the less running around Ebony can do. Okay, we're gonna get hit by those meteors, but we did not die. Impressive stuff from the big Mamu. Nice, bro. We tanked that purple skill, and he did not die, which is pretty gorgeous. Okay. Pop the 6. Pop the 4. Letting the 4 play all the way out is going to give you more of those fire swords. And those fire swords are what apply the fire resist down. But sometimes you got to cancel 4. But look at this, man. 4 minutes. I mean, it's a grueling 4 minutes. Like, it's a non-stop 4 minutes. But show me 5 characters that can do stage 99 without a rage, without Pierce on your cards, without a mighty CTP, and without a debuff lead. It's a very short list of characters. It's like Beta Ray Bill, Moonstone, and then like, I honestly think that's it. Moonstone can't even do Ebony. I know she can do like Cull Obsidian, but it's a very, very short list of characters. So it's honestly, I know that a lot of you guys have moved on to Knull. A lot of you guys have also just gotten sort of desensitized to the 99 clears because Beta Ray Bill can just one-shot, but it's super impressive that he can do that, especially given the fact that he doesn't need a rage. Of course, he's a super expensive 1600 CCF character, but it's really nice that he can do that without a rage. It kind of balances out his cost a little bit. Now we're going to jump in and do a stage 6 null. This honestly is as high as I think he can go, because he just doesn't have enough damage to go much higher than 6. So he's not quite there compared to someone like Ghost Rider. Now keep in mind, my Ghost Rider has a rage. Maybe Dormammu's going to do a lot better with a rage. I haven't tested that specifically. I've heard from Alliance Battle Extreme characters that, or players rather, that Dormammu doesn't really do much better with a rage versus a judgment. I don't know how much more rage is going to help him against null specifically, but like I said, pierce and judgment have a synergy because of the chain hit. So it would end up that once you get a little bit of pierce in your cards, maybe this is better than rage anyways. But yeah, we get the attack, we get the whatever buffs, and again, we're using these 5 strikers. I usually use these strikers plus Venom for Ghost Rider, but I don't need to use Venom as a striker because of the heal. I don't need the heal because Dormammu heals himself. Okay, so here we go with Dormammu, and the thing you're gonna really appreciate about him here is he just face tanks. He's just going to completely tank all of Null's skills in the chair. This is one of the easiest chair phases of any character. Like, he doesn't worry about getting stunned. He doesn't worry about the damage. He doesn't worry about standing in the pools. You probably hadn't noticed yet that this stage has that pool effect, right? The toxic pools, the toxic meteorites. You probably hadn't noticed that because Dormammu just makes it look like an absolute joke, man. He's so sick. And the other really cool thing, they came out around the same time, and I can just really appreciate the similarity in the builds. Dormammu's tier 3, like Ghost Rider's, gives him 100% ignore dodge. It actually gives him 100% ignore dodge for 10 seconds. You can see it right there. The Reign of Fear buff. Whereas Ghost Rider's is 7 seconds. But it just makes that burst damage when you pop the tier 3 so good. But yeah, the healing that he has on his passive, plus the debuff removal. He has this debuff removal passive, sort of like look at this damage, man. He's flying. This is the fastest I've ever cleared this. Gorgeous damage with Dormammu. This is the fastest I've ever cleared with Dormammu. Okay, we're gonna save the tier 3 skill here because we're just flying. It's a bit of a tight clear normally, but we might be able to do like a personal best here with Dormammu because of how much damage we're putting down here. But yeah, he's got a debuff removal passive like Black Bolt, so you can just stand in those puddles, man. You can stand in those puddles. He's got iframe ignore on the 6 and the 4, so look at this, full damage while Null is, you know, barking up his trees and stuff. And he also has, so he's going to get guard broken a little bit, but he has invincibility on 5. So you actually can avoid getting guard broken if you pop 5 when he starts slashing you. So Dormammu, you know, he's not the best character for Null. As you can see, his damage is not going to blow your socks off compared to other characters. But he actually does have a lot of other, quirks, passives that make him good against Null. And that also make the clear fun and easy. Maybe not fun in the sort of troll way like Gambit, but fun in other ways. Another thing that you want to take note of for certain characters against Null is the ability to cancel out of skill. I got stunned there. The ability to cancel out of skills. It's actually really important because sometimes you are trying to build up your tier 3 or trying to squeak in more damage, but the animation's really long on a particular skill, and if you get stuck, I think we can just pop this from here. Yeah, nice. If you get stuck in an animation, then he's gonna attack you with a different skill and hurt you, or do the spike skills and put you in the cage and you die or whatever, right? But with Dormammu, he has 2 skills with really short cooldowns. Animations. So like really snappy animations on 3 and 2. So you can basically cancel out of 5 or 4. Like 5 and 4 obviously really long animations, but 2 and 3 are super short. 2 is like super short. And you can basically cancel out of that bad boy right away. So we're actually doing really well here. Wow, we're kind of trapped in this corner, but otherwise we're doing well. Goof up this run. This is my best run yet with Dormammu. This is my best run yet. So I'm excited. Just gotta not die here, and we'll be good. I'm gonna pop the tier 3. Really good damage. Pop the 3. Like, his third skill has such a short... Look at this. Look at this. 5. I'm standing inside the circle, and I'm still hitting him. Don't you love that? Don't you just love that? Gambit can do that, too, so it's not the most, you know, unique skill, but I just love that he can do that. I love that he can do that. And so I can also tank this phase here by using 5 because he has invincibility. So it's gonna wear out here in a second. Okay, we pop the 6 here. So we're gonna lose the damage from 6 because Thor sort of wipes the field when he comes in. That might have been a mistake. We'll see. Nah, we can build up another tier 3. We should be fine here. Pop the tier 3. Pop the 4. Pop the 5. Yeah, man. That was sick. That's my best run ever with Dormammu. So I think, like, you know, 16 seconds left with both Cyclops and Valkyrie. I think this is kind of his limit for, you know, not using a CTP of Rage and not having any Pierce on your cards. But that's pretty damn impressive, especially given the fact that he's using a Judgment. Again, very few characters in the game can slap on a Judgment and take down stage 5+ of Knull, especially as a full solo. And not only is it a full solo, but he's healing, he's debuff removing, you know, it's so nice. Look at that, 5-second debuff removal with a 7-second cooldown. So he never takes damage. He never gets snared by the tornadoes. He never takes damage from the poison clouds. I would say that although Dormammu is not the best damage-wise, he's not even like top 5 damage-wise against Knull, I would say he's probably top 5, maybe top 3 easiest to play. He's just so easy to play against Knull. You can just basically do your rotation. You don't really have to pay attention to what Knull is doing besides the spikes, and you just go. And it's just damage, damage, damage. Obviously, Ghost Rider can go further, and he's half the cost, but Ghost Rider is very difficult to play. You have to learn his rotation. You have to pay attention to what Knull is doing. You have to react. Dormammu's just like easy button. He's just easy button. So I'm going to kind of miss the easy button with Dormammu. I'm going to try him out in PvP for the time being. Who knows? Maybe we'll come back in the future to do more testing with Dormammu in PvE. But yeah, let me know what you guys think of him. We got Loki on the horizon, so get hyped for that if you're hyped to see Loki tier 3. And yeah, I'll catch you guys in the next video. Thank you so much for watching, and take care.